Good evening, I'm Haley Wilges. Thanks for being with us tonight. Scott has the night off. Our top story this evening, we're now just days away from Siesta Key's debut as an MTV reality show. After several promos have drawn some mixed reactions from visitors and residents, the first full episode will air this upcoming Monday night. ABC 7's Adam Cellini is joining us live from Siesta Key with more local input, including the recent social media rant about the show's inaccuracies, and that is going viral. Tell us more about it, Adam.
Yeah, well, Haley, that video was done by a local college student, which is supposed to be the demographic that this show is going after. And he and many other people don't mind if this reality show turns out to be scripted or stretches the truth a little bit. But what they don't want and what they feel like they saw in that promo were things like the Village and, of course, Siesta Beach being caught up in that stretching of the truth. It's Siesta Key like you've never seen it before.
I'm actually really excited to see what goes down in Siesta.
I kind of had to shut it off early because it was just not accurate at all.
MTV's new show, centered around 8 college students home for the summer, is generating some buzz.
You got to be a pretty big deal for TV, so it's kind of cool to hear that Siesta Key's going to be on there.
And criticism, especially from lifelong resident and video blogger Louis Carey, who blasted one of the show's commercials on Facebook earlier this week.
I just kind of was so frustrated that they were making all these false statements.
Cast members claimed weather is 73 degrees year-round on Siesta and shot scenes in the Salty Dog miles away on City Island instead of the original location at the Siesta Village.
If I was the Salty Dog location on Siesta Key, I would kind of be offended that they're calling the other location, which is like 20 minutes away, the one on Siesta Key, because it's on the beach and it looks a little more pretty.
Carey's rant has earned him nearly 5,000 shares on Facebook and a high five from another resident worried about who the show might attract.
Our beaches get trashed all the time, and I'm constantly doing beach cleanups myself, to be honest, because people leave their trash everywhere and it's disgusting.
But Erica Sarica, who's vacationed here every year since she was born, is excited to see other young adults enjoy the island, especially her sorority sister and cast member Juliet Porter.
It's always been real fun around family, so it's going to be interesting to see how a group of kids my age have fun over here.
Now, love it or hate it, this show will have a lot of eyes on it when that first episode premieres on Monday. Everyone we talked to, both on camera and off camera, said they are tuning in. Some people even saw the camera when we were out shooting on Siesta Beach and just thought we were part of MTV's crew. But in terms of whether it's well received or not, well, Haley, that's what social media is for. Live on Siesta Key, I'm Adam Cellini. Back to you.
Well, Adam, if we see you on the show, we'll know that maybe they added you to the cast.
Yeah.
Well, this show will premiere on MTV this coming Monday at 10 p.m. But you can hear directly from 2 of the 7 cast members about what it was like to be a part of the Siesta Key reality show. Right here on ABC 7, the Suncoast View will have an exclusive interview with both Brandon and Chloe. So be sure to check it out tomorrow afternoon on Suncoast View at 4 o'clock. Moving on to other news tonight, a murder victim's loved ones are feeling a sense of relief with her alleged killer in custody after 4 years on the run. Andres Cavazos was arrested in Colombia, South America, charged with murdering his ex-girlfriend, Jasmine Catano. Catano was shot and killed in her home in June of 2013. She worked in the clerk of court's office in Manatee County leading up to her death. Angel Coloneso worked closely with Catano. Today, she expressed a sense of relief and closure, grateful that Catano will finally have the justice that she says she deserves.
When someone absconds and leaves the country, you almost wonder, will this ever happen? And it did, and we're all so glad for Jasmine's family that they did catch him, and now they'll see justice.
The Manatee County Sheriff's Office learned very early in the investigation that their suspect had fled to Colombia. It was through the help of Colombian authorities and the FBI that Cavazos was captured. New developments tonight involving the investigation into the death of a beloved manatee on the Suncoast. The South Florida Museum in Bradenton is confirming that the Manatee Rescue and Rehabilitation Partnership will assist them in finding out what exactly happened to the 69-year-old manatee. The group will give its recommendation on who will oversee the investigation and evaluate the circumstances that led to Snooty's death. The manatee got trapped in a maintenance tube on Sunday and was not able to turn around. He ended up drowning. Manatees can stay underwater for 20 minutes, but they cannot swim backward. Some good news tonight for the renters in Pasco County whose homes were swallowed by a massive sinkhole earlier this month. 2 renters will now be able to recover some of their belongings. The Pasco County officials say that debris from the sinkhole will be taken to a landfill where the renters can go through the contents at their own risk. In the meantime, county officials are still deciding what to do with the sinkhole in Land O'Lakes. The possibilities range from do nothing to connect it to a nearby lake. Besides the 2 swallowed homes, families in 3 other homes were displaced because of risk of falling in. 2 firefighters are back on the Suncoast tonight after spending several weeks out west. A firefighter from Sarasota County and Manatee County were among 80 people who recently traveled to Utah to fight the devastating wildfires. The crews spent about 2 weeks there working to contain all the wildfires out there. It burned 13 homes and forced the evacuation of 1,500 people. The local firefighters say being on the line in Utah is a lot different than Florida because of the low humidity and windy conditions.
A lot of times, we can control ours quicker because we can get on it and it's smaller, a little smaller area most of the time. Over there, you're talking of thousands of acres, and it can jump up to that really quick. So they need help.
Along with 2 Florida crews, a crew from Puerto Rico and Georgia also made that trip out to Utah. And now we're going to get a check on our forecast, which is pretty steamy, Bob.
It has been too as of late, Haley, with no real threat of any significant rainfall right near the coast. However, we've had some east areas getting some rainfall, some pretty heavy rain at times. One cell right there just north and now moving into Northport. Not much, though, from Braden and Sarasota, Venice, southward to Inglewood. Activity east of Arcadia, too, but this cell in particular has been producing some moderate to heavy rainfall. It was over Mayaca City just about an hour ago. It is drifting basically off toward the south and not building too much toward the west. So Northport, you're going to see some of this as it slowly works in that direction. You can see, though, it got to I-75 and kind of stopped here recently. We have some showers developing along I-75, and right now Northport checking with no rainfall near US 41. Temperatures remain warm despite the clouds that are around. Temperatures in the upper 80s right now in Sarasota, but if you factor in that humidity, it feels like 95 degrees right now. Orlando at 98 and 103 in Arcadia, 100 in Punta Gorda, feels like 100 in Inglewood. Our rain chances will be increasing significantly. I'll let you know when, coming up in just a few minutes. Haley?
Thank you, Bob. An update now on the project to install a diamond interchange at the intersection of State Road 64 and I-75. Work is already underway at that intersection. Crews with the Florida Department of Transportation are widening the on and off ramps to the interstate and installing sidewalks and bicycle lanes on 64. A representative for FDOT says there will be intermittent lane closures on both 75 and 64, but most of the closures will be overnight. The work is scheduled to be complete by late 2019. We now know which businesses will open alongside the new Whole Foods market at University Station in Sarasota. The complex is currently under construction at University Parkway and Honore Avenue. The development firm over the project, S.J. Collins Enterprises, has now fully leased the center. Great Expressions Dental Centers, Lee Nails, Banfield Pet Hospital, Greenwise Dry Cleaner, Wawa, and Zoe's Kitchen will open in those vacant spaces. The Wawa and Zoe's Kitchen are both expected to open later this year. The other tenants will open late this year or early next year. The developer has not yet announced the opening date for the Whole Foods market. ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern is joining us now to report it's been a mixed market on Wall Street today.
Haley, that's exactly the way we wound up, but not really the way we started. All 3 indices started the market sharply higher today. All 3 were in record territory, but unfortunately by the time the closing bell rang, only one was in record territory. That one, however, was the Dow Jones Industrial Average, closing at yet another all-time high. A lot of it, of course, based on quarterly earnings. We've seen just tons of reports, and we're going to see more of them over the next 2 weeks. Let's see how we finish today. There you see the record for the Dow, up almost 86 points, 0.4%, closing at 21,796.55. That on volume of 801 million shares. The NASDAQ, which has been a market leader, was certainly not a leader today. Down almost 41 points, more than 0.6%, closing at 6,382.19. That on volume of 1,707 million shares. And the S&P, kind of a whimper, down 2.5 points, just 0.1%, closing at 2,475.42. Shares of Facebook were up by more than 3% today. They've been up by more than 40% so far this year. The company reported better than expected top line and bottom line earnings for its second quarter. Their new numbers look terrific. Their year-over-year increase in users is now 17%. And for the first time ever, Facebook has crossed a magic threshold of 2 billion users. Yes, 2 billion users. We sometimes forget that Facebook is outside of the U.S. and, in fact, all over the world. And Haley, I know you use Facebook, I use Facebook, and we're one of 2 billion or more that are using it. And obviously, the company is doing extremely well.
It's one of those things that we're all somewhat addicted to, and they're benefiting off of that.
Exactly.
And Richard, news on Verizon.
Yeah, talk about a nice turnaround. Verizon really has been the biggest drag on the Dow Jones Industrial Average so far this year. And today, after announcing much better than expected earnings, Verizon stock was up by 7 3/4%. If you own Verizon, you had a pretty good day.
All right. Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.
Still to come on your Suncoast News, a fair ride breaks apart, sending people flying through the air. What's being done to make sure a similar malfunction doesn't happen again. And ABC 7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your full weather forecast. And an urgent wake-up call for men, why researchers are worried about male fertility. That's coming up in Health Smart.
The ABC 7 Stock Report is brought to you by Sunset Cadillac.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
The Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio charmed us all and crippled the competition. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah, yeah.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. We go behind the scenes with the new MTV reality show Siesta Key, plus appetizers for entertaining and photo booth fun. Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Alfa Romeo got a lot right with the Junior, but the handling alone is sufficient reason to get one. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Opening night at the Ohio State Fair ends in tragedy. An accident on a ride leaving one teenager killed and others injured. Now fairs across the country are responding by shutting down this ride. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest on the investigation.
The video is hard to watch, a ride called the Fireball breaking apart midair, sending its riders flying into the concrete below.
I think about that moment when some were thrown from that carriage. That's a nightmare.
Injuring 7 and killing 18-year-old Tyler Jarrell. He had enlisted in the Marines just days before and was set to attend basic training next year. In a statement, the Marine Corps says they are proud to have known him. Now the ride that took his life is shut down. The manufacturer instructing all Fireballs and similar rides to cease operation until further notice. And fairs across the country are rethinking just how safe aggressive thrill rides like the Fireball really are.
They need to do something about it, like that's not safe.
State officials in Ohio say all rides at the state fair were thoroughly inspected, and our local ABC station WSYX was there as they checked every piece of equipment.
Checking for the bolts, fasteners, making sure all that stuff's in place.
And they're reassuring the public that every ride at the fair will be checked again before it reopens.
Amusement rides are mechanized pieces of equipment. They can fail from time to time.
Right now, there is no federal oversight when it comes to amusement parks or fairs, and safety standards can vary greatly state by state. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Firefighters are making incredible high water rescues in Kansas City, Missouri. They pulled a woman from her car just moments before the car was swept away by floodwaters. Heavy rainfall overnight led to flash flooding across the city. Rivers are swelling past their banks and waterways have hit record levels. The flooding has also shut down roads, leaving drivers stranded like this woman. Wow.
Yeah, I know when I lived there, they had a lot of floods that took place when they had large storm systems move on through. Brush Creek there in Kansas City flooded, devastating flood many years ago. Tough going for those folks.
Yeah,
we could use a little bit of rain near the coast. We're not getting much here to cool us down. There's a few storms around. We'll take a look at those. We had a few this morning too, and that created this nice rainbow that you see here stretching over Sarasota. What does it mean, Mark? A nice shot. It means that the sunlight is being reflected and then refracted. That's slowing it down basically, and then you can see that nice rainbow. A lot of folks sending pictures in, and get a look at this. Van Way's a webcam this morning, 8 o'clock. You can see that rain around, and then as I put it in motion, you can see the rainbow. It was prevalent too for a good period of time. You see it dancing across Sarasota Bay there and across Lido and Longboat Key, and then it eventually faded away. Well, the rainbows, and not much here going on as far as rain goes along the coast. We have had some showers and storms around. They've been moving in from the north, heading to the south, basically. And I mentioned this earlier, not much going on at all from Anna Maria southward down into Inglewood. You can see that activity now just on the border of I-75 near Northport. Some showers and storms there around State Road 72, well east of I-75, and the motion has been basically working its way to the south, but lately this is now starting to drift off to the southeast now, so it may miss Northport. Rainfall amounts have been rather impressive in areas. This area in green in southeast portions of Manatee County are reporting up to nearly 2 inches of rain, but nothing to report near Lakewood Ranch. Well, in the tropics and now in the Atlantic Basin, all is quiet currently. There are a couple of tropical waves making their way across the Atlantic. Typically we have about 60 tropical waves that move across during the season, and you can see nothing going on in the Caribbean right now, but the big story in the tropics is in the other ocean, Pacific Ocean. We have Irwin and also Hillary that are spinning very close to one another within 600 miles, and you can see the banding features kind of connected now. So these two storms are connected. Here's Hillary right there, and what may happen is that this one may kind of go underneath Hillary, and they could, again, as I mentioned earlier this week, do what they call a Fujiwara, a dancing of hurricanes out there in the Pacific. Well, the major portion of the hurricane season still yet to come. It begins August 1st and peaks September 10th, and then it tapers off. A little secondary peak too, though, that happens in October, and that's when we have to be very careful here along the west coast of Florida in October especially. 87 degrees right now, the heat index at 95. It's not as oppressive as it once was a couple days ago, but still up there. Dew point 74. That west wind at 7. The pressures have been lowering slightly to 9.98 inches, and the wind flow has been rather light. It's been out of the west and will stay that way through tomorrow And that will push most of the storms if we get any inland. Now, there will be that chance to see a few coastal showers in the morning hours. So just after sunrise and up until about 12 o'clock, you'll see a chance for a few coastal showers. But for the forecast, for the most part, a high near 90 degrees tomorrow with partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Rain chances less than 40%. And the futurecast indicating the showers around this evening will fade on. And then by tomorrow morning, you'll see one or two start to develop right around sunrise near the coast. Now, the forecast looks like this for boaters. Winds will be out of the southwest, turning to the west. Not much out there, 5 to 10 knots. Seas running less than 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now has warmed up a little bit, 91 degrees, UV index at 11. And the forecast tides upcoming 11:20 for your next low tide, 8:22 for sunset, partly cloudy, a 20% chance for overnight thunder showers, 79 for a low. And then tomorrow I'll look for similar conditions what we saw today. A high near 91 and west winds at 5 to 10. The extended forecast is calling for a much better chance for storms on Sunday, and they stay high. The rain chances right through Thursday of next week. Haley?
Thank you, Bob. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. Right now, traffic is backed up on US 41 in the southbound lanes near Bee Ridge Road in Sarasota. In health news tonight, the World Health Organization warns that resistance to HIV drugs is on the rise. The WHO report shows 6 out of 11 countries surveyed reported more than 10% of people who are starting antiretroviral therapy in their country have a strain of the virus that is resistant to drugs. Researchers say the most rapid increase in resistant cases of HIV was observed in southern and eastern Africa. The WHO says resistance to treatment can happen in part when people do not have access to high-quality HIV treatment and care, and they cannot take their full regimen of medication. It appears a suicide attempt in an Army unit can lead to more. That's according to a study published in the journal JAMA Psychiatry. Researchers found the greater the number of previous suicide attempts in a unit, the greater the individual risk of suicide attempts for one soldier in that unit. That increased risk remains significant even after adjusting for other factors such as age, time in service, deployment status and occupation, and unit size. The findings were particularly, though, pronounced in very small units. A new study on male fertility. Sperm counts in men from several areas, including the United States, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, have dropped by more than 50% in less than 40 years. The study in the journal Human Reproduction Update also showed the rate of decline is not slowing. It was a meta-analysis bringing together various studies, and the study authors say it pointed to a potential decline in male health and fertility. The study did not explore the reasons for the decline, but researchers suppose it could be due to exposure to certain chemicals and pesticides, smoking, stress, and obesity. Coming up, alligator training pays off. The 2 techniques that a South Florida officer used to wrangle this animal. Plus, a show of strength on the streets of New York. Why firefighters decided to pick up and move a smart car. That's coming up next.
SRQ Performance Parts provides parts and accessories from over 300 manufacturers, so you can get that new manifold, carburetor, gasket, bolt kit, or nitrous oxide system fast. We'll help you beat the competition. Call or visit SRQ Performance Parts online today for all your high-performance parts and advice.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Attention blood thinner users. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If you or a loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-554-3987. Again, that's 1-800-554-3987.
Looking for something fun to do on a Friday night? Then come to Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Enjoy free live music, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Meet up with friends, enjoy activities for the kids, or make it a special date night. And be sure to stop by the ABC7 booth and say hello. Mark your calendars for Music on Main, first Friday of the month, 6 to 9 at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by ABC7 and these sponsors.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
The Boynton Beach Police Department in South Florida is releasing body cam footage of an officer making a daring rescue. Officer Alfredo Vargas was called to a home to wrangle a nuisance gator. Luckily, he's trained for these type of calls. In 2004, Vargas took a tour of an alligator rescue facility and decided to take a training course. Now, 13 years later, he put his trapping skills to good use. Vargas used a clicking noise to mimic the sound of baby gators to try to get the gator away from the door so he could catch it. But the rope slipped several times.
It normally gets alligators to react because they're very protective of the young. I just try to cover its eyes, calm the alligator down a little bit.
That technique worked. The gator stopped fighting and Vargas grabbed it with his bare hands. Once he got to the canal, Officer Vargas removed the tape from the gator's mouth and put him back in the water. Some firefighters in New York are showing off their strength. The men of ladder 111 in Brooklyn could not get down the street because of an illegally parked Toyota Tundra. Rather than moving the Tundra, the firefighters decided to pick it up and they couldn't move the Tundra. So what they decided to do instead was there was this smart car that was parked nearby. So they just picked that thing right up because it's a lot less heavy than a Toyota Tundra. Pretty cool. One critter is recovering from an epic ride through the state of Texas. The ringtail cat hitched a ride on an RV in the Bandera area, then was discovered in Beaumont. That's a ways away. Staff members at the Wildlife Center of Texas and Houston are caring for this cute little animal. Ringtails are related to the raccoon family. They are nocturnal mammals. They're native to Texas, but mostly in the western part of the state. After the ringtail recovers, he'll be released into the wild back near Bandera. Good luck, little one. Still to come on your Suncoast News. Could an old steakhouse be the solution to a problem that is plaguing the city of Venice? What the mayor wants to do with this property coming up next.
Get the hottest deals of the year during the summer clearance event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of Ram trucks. Get maximum cargo space and more comfort with a new Ram Quad Cab for as low as $24,999. Or spread out in your spacious new Ram Crew Cab and save up to $10,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. It's gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.